Update. I, 50 female, told my daughter, 24 female, that I won't attend her wedding if her biological father is there, but now she says I'm being stuck in the past. Original post. For some context, about 24 years ago, I was violated by a close friend of mine and got pregnant by the encounter. I was inconsolable for months after the event. To make matters worse, I found out that I was pregnant at about 20 weeks, and where I lived at the time it was illegal to terminate after the first trimester. My husband had really been my rock and my support during that time, and I do not know how it would have ended up if not for him. He said that I could put it up for adoption, or I could keep the child and he would raise it like our other children. I decided to not give it up for adoption, but raising the kid was hard. I'm half Polish and half German, and he is half German and half Russian. We both have pale skin, light hair, and blue eyes, as well as being fairly tall. I'm about 178 centimeters, or around 5'10", and he's 191 centimeters, or about 6'3". However, our daughter Luna is about 160 centimeters, or 5'3", has dark hair and a brown complexion like her biological father. I often heard snide remarks about me being an unfaithful wife because it was obvious that she was not my husband's child. It was especially hard for me when Luna was young, because she looked so much like her dad. My husband took care of my daughter most of the time, since I had bad flashbacks whenever I saw her face from when I was violated. As she grew up, it died down a bit, but I would still get these horrible panic attacks when I saw her wearing boys' clothes and short hair. Since I was prone to having panic attacks, Luna ended up being closer to my husband than she was to me. Also, she often ended up getting a little more than her siblings from my husband as some sort of compensation because of me. I never told her that she was the product of a non-consensual act, because I was too ashamed and my husband did not want her feeling different from her siblings. I often told her that me and her biological father got into an altercation but never spoke to one another ever again. About 2 years ago, she got one of those DNA test items and found out she had a relative in the system. Said relative got Luna in touch with her bi-dad, and they started talking despite my protests. He apparently wanted to speak to me about something he wanted to tell me, so Luna attempted to persuade me to speak with him. I made her aware that me and her father shouldn't ever be in the same room together. Now, Luna's getting married to a lovely young man. Some of the COVID restrictions have been lifted, so she's able to have a decent-sized wedding. The original plan was to have my husband walk her down the aisle, but he had gotten into a bad accident, leaving him in a wheelchair until his legs are strong enough to support his weight again. However, this is not her idea of a picture-perfect wedding day, so she invited her biological father to have the honor of being the bride's father. Her wedding invitation not only invited my offender, but she totally disrespected the man who raised her. Although I or a bridesmaid could have pushed him down the aisle, she thinks it would not fit the vibe of the wedding. My husband looked so shocked and upset that she would even think of this, but I was furious. I have a visceral hate for that man, and I let her know that I would not be anywhere near him. She told me that this is what she wants and there's no changing her mind, so I told her I will not be attending if he's there. She got upset and told me that I shouldn't hang on to the past, but I laid it into her that she doesn't know what happened between me and her biological father, so she shouldn't stick her nose where it doesn't belong. Though I feel terrible about what I said and how I said it, and I can't be blamed for her being born or not knowing what happened since I never told her, I still feel as though my wishes should be respected if I say I don't want to be in the same room as someone. I'm now okay with her contacting her father, I just do not want anything to do with him. Also, it's rude to replace your father with another man who you've barely known for 2 years because of something he couldn't control. Can anyone offer me a perspective that I am not catching? Has anyone ever dealt with this, and if so, how? Now for the top advice before reading the update. You need to tell her how she was conceived. You did her a disservice by concealing that from her and allowing her to have a relationship with an offender. Now that offender has obviously fed her a narrative that paints him in a convenient light. Who knows what else that man could do? Tell her immediately. She should know that a picture-perfect wedding she wants will forever be marred by having him there. If after telling her she sticks to her guns, let her know you won't have a relationship with someone who so easily sides with someone like that. I was conceived from my father violating my mother. I would never expect my mother to see my father at all. You need to tell her. It's her business as well as yours. Also, I didn't discover the truth of my conception until I was roughly your daughter's age. It took some processing, but I've moved on. It's part of my story as it's part of your daughter's. It's time to stop lying to her. Frankly, you should have put her up for adoption the second you started having panic attacks around her. She's a grown 24-year adult. There is no reason for her to not know her bi-dad violated you. And now for the update. Before I get started on the updates, I have a few things I want to address. A lot of people have questioned me on why I did not tell my daughter that she was a product of a crime. The only answer is that I was ashamed of myself. For some context, before I got married to my husband, I actually was very close friends with my offender. We grew up together in a small community, and our families were close. Our parents even wanted us to be together. He was always interested in me, but I didn't give him a chance until university. I broke it off with him and started dating my husband, but I never cut him off because we were very close. He invited me over to drink. This was normal for us. And when I started getting a bit tipsy, he violated me. I was very traumatized by the situation and tried to get him jailed, but I couldn't. He had a very good reputation, so everyone believed him, even my own mother, when he said I willingly came over and did it with him. I eventually stopped pursuing the case because of the social pressure, which only got worse when I found out I was pregnant. I eventually left the place with my husband and kids to live somewhere else. After I gave birth, my husband suggested therapy, but I was scared of being judged again, so I decided to bury it and try to forget about it. I just realized now that it was the worst way to go about this, but it's the only way I knew how to, honestly. Now on to the update. After reading all the advice I'd gotten, I decided that I should stop running away and tell her everything. I called her to come over and she did. I first apologized for yelling at her for her suggestion, because in her mind it was an innocent suggestion. I told her that I wasn't angry at her, but at how fast she was willing to replace her father because he was in a wheelchair, and that anger was compounded because she brought up her genetic father. I apologized again for acting childish and not like an adult. She asked me why I'm so against her genetic father being in the same vicinity as I am, and I just told her everything, from our initial friendship to her forced conception. She didn't believe me, like some of you predicted, but I can get a copy of the records of the court case and offered them to her if she needed a look. She looked stunned, like she wanted to believe me, but couldn't. I apologized for keeping all this from her because I didn't know how to bring it up. She told me she didn't believe me and would confirm with her genetic father, so I told her to take the time she needed to process all this. Later that day, she came again, crying and apologizing for not believing me. I held her and cried and apologized too. It was kind of therapeutic. We had a long chat and I did feel closer to her. When we were done, she said she wanted to take me out to a surprise to help me feel better in a couple of days, which I happily agreed to. I went to see her yesterday in this little restaurant with a patio that had a private pay-for-use area for a maximum of 4 people due to COVID. She ran up to me and gave me a hug. Then she led me to the patio, where her biological father stood. She told me he was here to apologize and start my healing journey. I just wanted to leave, but he grabbed my hand, and all those memories I tried to repress just came back out. I started having a panic attack and lost my balance, to which she tried to help me keep my balance, which worsened everything. I honestly don't remember how I left, but I ended up in my car just sobbing. I called my elder son to pick me up because I was not fit to drive at that moment. Today my daughter called me upset that I ruined her surprise, but I was extremely upset with her. I asked her why she did that when she knows everything that happened between me and him, and she tried to use the excuse of my healing journey, but I wasn't having it. She admitted that she wanted me to get used to him because he's gonna be walking her down the aisle along with my husband, and we'll be doing the daddy-daughter dance. I told her that while I loved her and respect her decision to be with him, I am not willing to be anywhere he is. She started complaining about how she wants all her family to be there, and I'm still not forgiving, but I hung up the phone. My husband is aware of everything and stands by me if not going to her wedding, but I don't want this. If my other children were to know, they would stand by me and tell the rest of their extended family, which is going to lead to my daughter getting disowned by the family. But there is no need to give me advice on this because I will be seeking professional aid. Anyways, one good thing to come out of this is that I'm finally confident enough to seek therapy. Thank you for listening to my venting and for commenting on my last post. Happy holidays! I hope you enjoy it with those who love you. WTF. Honestly, same. Daughter checked all requisites of villainy. Never met the daughter, but her entire existence infuriates me right now. It baffles me that in some twisted way, she excused, condoned, accepted, doesn't care that the assault happened. Can't even find a right word, but it was selfish of her to ambush you with that horrible person. Sending virtual boosters and support to OP after being hit with a hurricane of an event. Seriously, what a self-centered little see you next Tuesday. What a horrible daughter. No offense. But at least you have other people in your life with warmer hearts. I think the same. Only a little piece of trash can think that is a good idea to forgive an offender for her selfish wants. I know that she's her daughter, but I'll cut her off if it was me. This is a lot for you to deal with. Virtual hugs from an internet stranger. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for all of this. My heart goes out to you. Question, if I may, is your husband going to the wedding? No, my husband is very angry with her at the moment. Despite his injury, he's been constantly checking on me to see if I'm alright. I honestly love that man, and I seriously doubt that I would be alive if it weren't for him. I may be way off here, but your kids and the rest of your family deserve to know the truth. She deserves to be disowned. You have suffered enough for her. If I was your child or a family member, I would want the chance to do right by you. Also, she may tell them regardless. It's best they hear it from you before she spins the story to make her seem like the reasonable one. Now for the last story. Update. My daughter ran away at 17 to be with her husband. She is now 22, he is 34, and I have recently found out she is pregnant and would like to try again to reach out to her. I'm not sure which way would be best. Original post. Hello, I'm 53 years old and I have a 22-year-old daughter. My husband and I have not spoken to her for 5 years when she left home. She ran away at 17, and when we located her, she was already 18 and living with her husband, who is 34 years old now. My husband completely cut her off, but I tried to maintain contact with her, but never got any responses from her. Eventually, she changed her phone number, and I didn't even have any way to contact her. Recently, my daughter has reached out to one of her cousins, and that cousin has told me that my daughter is expecting her first child. I would like to reach out to my daughter and repair our relationship. I would like to help her with her pregnancy and be part of my grandchild's life. I'm looking for advice on what you think the best way to contact her would be. My options are 1. Send her a message over social media. This seems very impersonal to me. 2. Send her a text message. I worry this will upset her because it would mean her cousin giving me her phone number. I don't want my daughter to see that as a betrayal of her trust. 3. Write her a letter. This seems like the most personal way for me without invading her privacy. Worst comes to worst, her cousin can take a picture of the letter and send it to her. I would just like others' opinions on what they think I should do. Thank you very much. I'm going to add in some pertinent background information. When my daughter ran away, my husband and I did not know she had left willingly to be with her boyfriend, the man she's married to now. We did not even know she was dating someone. We thought she was kidnapped. There was a search for her, and my husband and I exhausted our savings and retirement to search for her once the police stopped. Months later, we found out she was alive and well, and had gotten married to that man once she turned 18. My husband has not talked to her since, though I have reached out many times. Our relationship was very good until she turned 16, when I later found out she began dating her now husband. Around that time, she began sneaking out, skipping school, and lying, which we know was probably due to the influence of her husband. I do not know much about their relationship dynamic, other than she apparently admitted to my niece he's controlling. Now for the top advice before reading the update. A letter is least intrusive and most respectful. Other people have made excellent comments here about ways to contact her. I only wanted to add that your daughter has been groomed and is very probably in an awful relationship. What you're going to want to do, because you're loving parents, is get her the hell away from this man. But you can't. She will have to take the step on her own once she's ready. And it's a lot easier to do that when she knows she has backup and place to go. So if you really want to help her, make sure you don't alienate her and you stay in her life. Don't talk bad about her husband. Don't talk good about him either. Better to not mention him at all. If she does talk to you about him, try to let her come to the realization on her own by biting your tongue and doing nothing but asking questions. Are you okay with that? How does that make you feel? Do you think that's what love is? Stuff like that. Remember, her husband is probably looking for a way to isolate her further. You're gonna have to rebuild that bond again. Do not be judgmental about their marriage/relationship at all, especially in the beginning. Edit/update. I asked my niece to reach out to my daughter about the two of us talking. My niece told me she said yes and gave me her phone number. She said to call her tomorrow after 9 o'clock. I'm very excited about this new development. And now for the update. I'm writing this quickly while I have a chance. I received a lot of wonderful advice, and for all of you who are well-meaning, I thank you very much. After I wrote my last post, I reached out to my niece to ask her if my daughter wanted to be contacted by me or not. My daughter says yes, and said for me to call her after 9 o'clock the next day, but made sure to say not to call her beforehand. At 9:15 the next day, I called my daughter. She immediately told me she needed money and a place to stay. She told me her husband had begun to get physical with her, and she was afraid for herself and her child. In summary, over the last few days, we have found out that my daughter's husband was emotionally and financially controlling her over the years. But my daughter was fooled by him enough that she thought it was okay or normal. She said that he would get mad at her if she talked about reaching out to her father and I, and would tell her that we were going to try to break them apart. It wasn't until she became pregnant and got worse that she realized she needed to get out. My husband and I immediately flew to go get her and bring her home. We have already talked to law enforcement in both her town and ours. Thank you, everyone. I know this is written rather hastily, so if there are any questions, I will answer them. I wish you and your daughter all the best. I'm glad she felt able to ask for help and leave her abuser. That takes great courage, especially after being groomed so young. Thank you very much. She was very brave, and we are very proud of her. What a great response from you. I am sure this was not what you expected and you went into protective mode immediately. My one piece of advice is, understand she may not open up about everything immediately. Let her know that's okay and your home is a safe space. And when she's ready, you're there for her if she wants to share. She would fare well with therapy, but what a damn champ for asking for help. She's a strong one. You raised her right. Congrats on being a grandparent, though on quite a different type of journey than you expected. My husband and I immediately flew to go get her and bring her home. What a relief it must be for her to find herself in a safe place. Please be patient with her. Her recovery will take time and will require therapy and a lot of support.
I told on my mom's married boyfriend and ruined my life. Update 1.5 years later. Original post. My mother started having an affair with a married man, Bruce, over 10 years ago. My dad left her over it, but she stayed with Bruce with the promise of him divorcing his wife soon. Spoiler alert, it never happened. After 10+ years of knowing my mother was the other woman, and after stalking Bruce's wife's socials, I couldn't take it anymore. He's a creepy man that no one in my family can stand, including my 3 other siblings. We've been tasked all these years to keep her dirty secret and treat Bruce as if he's not an adulterer. I took one for the team and sent some anonymous emails out to some contacts I've found through the social media. Bruce's wife responded to me and asked to speak, as she had no idea any of this was going on, which I highly suspected despite Bruce's lies all these years. So I sat down and phoned her. We talked for almost 3 hours. She's a nice woman who was nothing but kind to me. She's been married to Bruce for 30 years and had no idea he had a double life. His job allows him to travel frequently. I answered all her questions. During this conversation, I knew my relationship with my mother was over. I knew the details would get back to her and would point to me. Bruce's wife thanked me over and over and shared she would be divorcing Bruce once she got her finances in order. It was a very emotional conversation, and I'll never forget the sound of her cries as I told her all the details. The next day, I was completely cut off from my mother. I had no way of contacting her, and shortly after that, the harassment from members of my family came flooding in. Messages of disgust toward me and support towards my mother. Everyone turned on me and will no longer speak to me. I can't imagine she's telling them the truth of what I did. I told on her married boyfriend. I'm shocked my family has chosen her side and abandoned me. Sometimes regret washes over me, but in the end, all I did was speed up the inevitable. And I did it for my siblings who couldn't stand his presence anymore. I thought it would get rid of him, but it backfired. Not only are Bruce and my mother getting married, my siblings chose her side and have cut me off. This weighs heavy on my chest. It did for the last 10 years, and now because of what I did, it will continue. Thanks for reading and letting me get it out. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. You did the right thing, although you maybe should have anticipated this would speed up the process on Bruce and his wife getting a divorce. Your mother got what she wanted in the end, so she should be thanking you. For the best though, she broke up your family by her selfish actions and chose a crappy man over her kids. You probably would have ended up going no contact with her anyway. True. Not sure why mom's so upset about this all being exposed. Like, girly, you've been with a married man for 10 plus years. Clearly you aren't that ashamed. Why isn't your mother happy about what you did? She finally got the man that will cheat on his wife. She feels I betrayed her, I'm sure, and I've jeopardized her lavish lifestyle with him. Well, it's only going to go downhill from here. As the old folks say, the way you get them is the way you lose them. Your mom has to know if he cheated on his wife of 30 years for the past 10, he will damn sure cheat on her. So get you some popcorn, sit back and watch that show unfold. She will regret her actions then. Did it really ruin your life though? I mean, if members of your family are harassing you and supporting your mother because you told your mom's boyfriend's wife that he's been cheating on her for the last 10 years with your mom, then I think that they are trash people who aren't worth your time. You aren't wrong. It's just hard to have everyone hate me so abruptly. Hey, I've been there and it is hard. You will be okay, and as more and more time passes, it'll become clearer and clearer that you are better off without them in your life. It could still be painful even after that realization, but you need to remind yourself that it was the right thing. Plus, you won't have this weighing you down so much in a bit more time. Yes, it's even heavier right now, but it will get lighter once the waves pass. Just hang tight to your morals and keep the path. You've got this. Now for the updates. Thank you to all the supportive comments. I have a few people in my corner rooting for me, but these comments have been comforting and therapeutic. With the number of family members who turned on me, I truly started to worry I was the problem and had made a mistake. To answer some questions, money is a huge factor in all of this, which is why my mother and siblings are so angry and not thanking me. I am my mother's oldest daughter. Only my youngest sibling lives with her. We are all adults. I have 2 young children my mother has thrown to the curb for Bruce. They will never know who she is. I am in contact with a wife. She is a lovely woman who is aware of how this all unfolded and has been so kind to me. I like to think that in another life we would be friends. I've spent a lot of time putting together proof for her so she can get what she deserves out of the divorce. Keeping in touch with the wife angered Bruce and my mother so much that they told my family I was harassing the wife, which fueled the fire even more for my family to hate me. To the few that have commented I should have minded my own business, I wish this never was my business. What a laugh. Mini update 2. My family still won't talk to me. It's been almost 6 months of no contact from my mom. I have tried many times to reach out. As far as I know, Bruce and my mother still want to get married, and they are waiting on their divorces. I talk to Bruce's wife monthly, who is still devastated by all of this, and she continues to be nothing but kind to me. She's expressed her desire to meet me in person to thank me. She hired a forensic lawyer and found 22 hidden credit cards. I helped her build a timeline with all the evidence I had, so she'll be getting what she deserves from the divorce. It's been hard without my family, but I have to hold on to the fact that I helped this stranger and stayed true to my own morals. I know I did the right thing. Now for the last update 14.5 months later. It has been 18 months since I blew my family life up by tattling on my mother for being the other woman for 12 plus years. 18 months of a smear campaign against me that has turned all of my family, except one sister, and close family friends against me. Even my grandparents who basically raised me. Bruce's wife and I still keep in touch every few months. She has gone through way worse than I have. Her life was a lie, and she struggles daily to comprehend everything that has happened. I feel so much shame that my mother is half responsible for this woman's heartbreak. She has still been nothing but kind to me. The big question that remained unanswered for 18 months, why did my family alienate me? What lie did my mother and Bruce tell that made them not even give me a chance to speak? The truth is that I told on my mom's married boyfriend and blew up their vacation mode relationship. But we all know that couldn't be what she was telling people. Every night I would lay awake wondering what it was that was said about me. And I finally got the answer a year and a half later. My mother told everyone that I was a drug addict, that I was cognitively affected by drug use. None of you know me, but I am not a drug addict. My family believed that lie without question, because who would lie on their own child like that? She had to say a lie so far from the truth that no one would question her. So there it is. The damage is done from all ends. My family thinks I'm a drug addict, and I'll never forgive my family for believing that and turning on me. I pled with so many of them. I sent them the entire story from start to finish, and no one broke and came to my side. I will never forgive my mother. So much has happened these past 18 months, and it's all her fault. She almost broke me. But thankfully, I have an amazing family of my own I created. A husband, 2 daughters, and amazing in-laws. My sister and I have never been closer. We are healing together. The only thing I wish now is for my mother to stop smearing me. My husband deployed for 6 months, and she actively lied about me to people who would come and help me during that time to try to isolate me further. There is no limit to her mental torment. My mother will always be my biggest bully. Going no contact with a narcissistic parent is so hard. Don't let any old hag out there tell you it's their first time living too. It's your parent at the end of the day. I am her child, and she chose an ugly, balding man over me and 2 amazing granddaughters. It will always be her loss. Thanks again for letting me get it off my chest. Hope you have 2 choices. 1. Expose her with evidence that what she said and did was a big fat lie to cover her adulterous relationship as the side woman. She was for 12 plus years, and that is the reason your parents divorced. Also, expose that she invented this story just to get back at you for uncovering the truth to Bruce's wife, with evidence supported and exposed to the community. Or 2, just don't give a damn about her and all those people who chose to believe her side, even knowing you and who you are. This means that all those people are not worth the effort to have them in your life, grandparents included. Just stay with people who add to your life. Take all those who dumped you, especially your mom, as people who are dead to you. People who were in your life at some point and suddenly died. Again, stay and surround yourself with people who add, not people who subtract. Good luck, and I hope your kids, husband, and you are doing great. Also remember that the best way to take revenge on all of them is to live a better life. I had a family friend harassing me about 5 months ago, sending me messages on every social platform, telling me I needed to get my head out of my behind and make things right with my mother, and how horrible I was for how I treated her. I couldn't take it anymore, so I posted the screenshots on my socials for everyone to see, and it honestly made things worse for me. A lot of family thought I was causing drama by doing that, so I have been going with option 2. Thank you for your kind words. I do not blame you for having resentment against your family members who abandoned you like that. Do you still have a relationship with your father and his side of the family? My father was upset at me at first because it caused a lot of headaches for him. He and my mother were only separated, not divorced. He didn't want to give up his pension, and he was also told the false version. So it honestly took about a year to get him to truly understand the truth. We've never had a great relationship, but we are growing closer now. Next story. My brother lost his job as a doctor, and he is angry that I will not let him move in with me. I told my brother he cannot move into my home, and he is angry with me. But there is no way it can happen. My brother is a doctor, or was a doctor, I guess. He lost his job and is being investigated for fraud. I'm not a doctor, so I will try my best to explain what has happened. In my country, the healthcare system only allows a medication called semaglutide to be covered for diabetes. The cost is not covered for anything else. If someone wants semaglutide for another reason, they have to pay for it themselves. There is no way to have the cost covered. There was a test that doctors like my brother did for diabetes. I do not know what the test is called. The person had to stop eating and drinking, then go to the doctor's office and get tested. Then they had to drink a special liquid and get tested a second time. My brother told his patients to eat before the first and second test. This would give results that showed the person had diabetes, which allowed them to get the costs for semaglutide covered by the healthcare system. I don't know how my brother was found out. I know some of the people ended up in the hospital, but I am not sure exactly how what my brother did was discovered. He has already been told he cannot be a doctor in our country again because he misused a prescription medication. He has lost his job as a doctor too. He is being investigated for fraud against the healthcare system. He wants to come live with me. He would not be working and would expect me to pay for everything, as well as let him stay with me for an undetermined length of time. I said no, and now he is angry with me. But it would not work out. I live in a studio, so there is no room. I make enough money to look after myself, but not someone else too. My parents live in a retirement community and are on fixed pensions. Our grandfather lives in assisted living care, so none of them have the money or space to help my brother. He says I am the only one who can help him. When I said no, he got angry with me and called me a bad sister. He says he used all his money for his legal problems and that I must help. My job is an electrician, but I also work as an auto mechanic once in a while for extra money. It is enough for me. My brother said I can do more auto mechanic work when he lives with me, but I do not want to do this. I do not think this is my responsibility, and I am angry that he would ask this of me and blame me for his problems. Thank you for reading. He was probably found out because when those people ended up hospitalized and they checked hemoglobin A1C levels, they figured out pretty quickly, in addition to regular glucose testing, that those patients never had diabetes in the first place. Patients probably ratted him out too, telling how your brother helped them cheat the system, and he was reported. Just wondering, do you think this medication might have been requested to help with weight loss? Yes, this was the reason why those people wanted to be prescribed semaglutide. My brother was allowed to prescribe it to them to lose weight. It's just that the healthcare system would not cover the cost of it. I'm sure he knows enough people to crash with, but you two know he would never leave your studio again. So yeah, don't let him in. You don't have the means to support him. Most of his friends in the medical field would be avoiding him like the plague. He will be facing serious misconduct allegations for coaching patients on how to manipulate test results. It sounds like he worked in a country with socialized medicine, so he would also be in deep trouble for falsely claiming patients were eligible for subsidized medications and prescribing inappropriately. I'm so curious about what country you're from. Electricians make a killing in my country. But to your actual topic, you're doing the right thing. Your brother messed up. He has no one to blame but himself. And those drugs aren't even that safe. They reduce bone mass and are lawsuits waiting to happen on the other side of this. Your brother now has to figure out his next move, and if he stays with you, he will likely not bother until you throw him out. I earn more than enough to look after myself. If I want something expensive, like a trip, I can do auto mechanic jobs to earn extra money. I like both kinds of work, but none of this means I am able to look after another person for an indefinite period of time. Last story. I didn't go to my sister's funeral. She took her life when I started a new one. I've been carrying a lot of mixed emotions lately, and I needed to get this off my chest. In 2022, I, 23 female, booked a one-way flight to Ireland. After years of working and saving, I found a job abroad and thought it would be a way to break away from my family and hometown after enduring years of abandonment and abuse since childhood. I had gone no contact with my family and was ready to start over. I knew staying in that environment any longer would destroy me. The day I landed, I got the call. My older sister, 28 female, had taken her own life. She had attempted it before, first in high school after running away from home and again in her early 20s. Her pain was chronic and visible, but no one really saw her. I had been warning my family for years that this might happen. I begged them to stop mistreating her, to stop ignoring the emotional distress we were both drowning in. They never listened. We weren't close, not because I didn't care, but because our family dynamics didn't allow space for closeness. We were both just trying to survive. The dysfunction made everything tense, distant, and fragile. Still, she was my sister, and she didn't deserve what she went through. I didn't go to her funeral. I couldn't sit among the same people who made our lives hell, now acting heartbroken. I couldn't watch them cry over her death after showing her so little compassion in our lives. I knew I'd fall apart if I did. People judged me, said I should have gone. I tried to speak up, I just couldn't save her. And I couldn't go back and pretend for the sake of appearances. Now I'm grieving in silence, with guilt, rage, and heartbreak tangled together. I got out. She didn't. That truth haunts me more than anything. 2 years later, I'm still trying to figure it out. Don't feel bad about missing her funeral. Funerals are for the living, not the dead. You can find a proper way to celebrate the life of your sister. As for anyone who says anything about you not going, don't listen to them. They either don't know the background or are part of the problem. The first you can explain if you feel like it. The second, don't waste your time trying to explain. Please gray rock your family, who are pretty obviously abusive.